Following the Black Shell General's earth-shaking roar of warning, he quickly conjured a large-scale divine shield over the celestial army with his powerful cultivation base at the 7th stage of the Divine Star Realm. At his level, it was far too easy to cover entire cities with his divine energy in an instant. However, the Black Shell General had only covered the celestial army and didn't care about the Emperor Crabs. To begin with, most Celestials at the Black Shell General's level would have been reluctant to use such a large-scale divine spell. After all, not only would it generate large spirit energy fluctuations, but it would also consume a lot of divine energy. Alas, the Black Shell General never imagined that his powerful, large-scale barrier was as weak as thin paper in front of Valefor's Azura flames. When the arrow rain of Azura flames struck the large-scale divine barrier, holes instantly appeared. A small portion of the Azura flame arrows scattered along the barrier's surface, gnawing away at its divine energy. As for the rest of the Azura flame arrows, they continued to rain down on the horrified celestial soldiers. Ah! Horrific screams resounded as Valefor's dreadful Azura flames incinerated the vulnerable celestial soldiers. Even being burned alive by other flames wouldn't produce such terrible and agonized screams. No, they were being burned and eaten by the Azura flames at the same time. Regardless of the defenses the celestial soldiers put up to defend themselves, it was all useless in front of the unstoppable Azura flames their divine spells turned into nothingness, while their spirit tools were reduced to trash.n/o/vel/b/in.c//om. The Emperor Crab clan side was even more tragic. Millions of its kind got decimated in a single brief barrage. There were simply too many Emperor Crabs to avoid the 1,000 falling arrows of Azure flames. The one-sided slaughter instantly shook the Black Shell General. With his proud cultivation base at the 7th stage of the Divine Star Realm, he didn't believe the Great Devils could rival him, even if they stepped into Pangaea. However, he also recognized that Valefor's Azura flames could only be something from chaos, even if he didn't know who he was. Valefor's familiar appearance did cross his mind, but he failed to connect it to the great devil slayer called Von Rafna. The gap in the information between the two was just too great for him to force the connection. Even if they looked the same, few would believe they were the same people. "Wait, Your Excellency," the Black Shell General pleaded to Valefor, saying, "You must not be from around here. There's no need for you to participate in this conflict. Please, this is Pangaea's issue. We didn't come here to fight you." "No, you came here to die," Valefor indifferently replied, continuing his slaughter. Against the non-sentient Emperor Crabs, Valefor did not even bother antagonizing them to maximize his harvest of slaughter energy. After all, talking to them would be like talking to a brick wall. On the other hand, while the Celestial Army had many experts for Valefor to exploit, he didn't have the luxury of time to deal with them slowly since he had to deal with all three battlefronts simultaneously. "Wait," the Black Shell General cried. Valefor indifferently waved his hand in the sky, and a giant palm of Azura flames descended on the Black Shell General. He had to take out the head to cripple the Celestial Army's chain of command. The Black Shell General immediately sensed the overwhelming power of annihilation from the incoming hand of black-red flames, and every cell in his body screamed danger. As such, the Black Shell General quickly fled away from the Celestial Army, abandoning his soldiers despite knowing that such an attack would wipe them out. However, Valefor's Azura palm did not continue to descend on the Celestial Army. Instead, he redirected its course and chased after the Black Shell General, even accelerating to catch up. "No!" the Black Shell General howled in fear, sensing his imminent doom. When the Black Shell General found himself at the crossroads of life and death, he no longer held back his reservations, he unleashed all the divine energy from his divine world. Swoosh! The Black Shell General suddenly became overflowing with divine energy. The bluish energy that poured out of his body was so thick and concentrated that it was like heavy water. When it expanded beyond his body, it was a sea hovering over the sky, except one formed from raw energy. The divine energy rapidly transformed into a raging water dragon and rammed against Valefor's incoming Azura palm. However, the expected steam explosion resulting from the clash of fire and water did not occur. The two forces simply annihilated each other, or rather, the Azura palm annihilated the water dragon. The overbearing Azura flames ate away at the water dragon while the latter received constant replenishment of divine energy to push back the Azura palm. The Black Shell General succeeded in stalling the Azura palm, but only for a brief moment. When Valefor got slightly more serious, the Azura palm quickly consumed the divine water dragon. No dash. The Black Shell General gave one final short cry before disappearing to the unstoppable Azura palm. After the Celestial Army lost its general, Valefor did not even spare it a glance before slicing apart space to move to the next battlefield. However, even after he left, a suffocating silence filled the ranks of the Celestial soldiers. A series of thunderous storms raged in their hearts and minds, crippling them with hesitation. What were they supposed to do with their general gone? Who was going to give them orders? Were they supposed to keep fighting? Even someone as powerful as their Black Shell General died a dog's death to that dreadful being. Weren't they asking for complete annihilation by pressing the invasion? When they initiated this war, they knew there would be a great slaughter. Unfortunately, they weren't the ones doing the slaughtering, they were the ones getting slaughtered. Our retreat. A noble Celestial quickly fled before he even gave the order. He held the rank of 3-star commander, but it was only acquired through powerful connections. Nevertheless, another 3-star Celestial commander instantly pierced his head with a penetrating divine water art. Deserters deserve death. Who else dares to run? Following the 3-star Celestial commander's threatening warning, the eyes of the Celestial soldiers turned red with madness. The 3-star Celestial commander was basically forcing them to die. Suddenly, the 3-star Celestial Commander was pounced on by several fear-driven Celestial soldiers. The sneak attacks caught him off guard as he did not expect to be attacked by so many comrades. As such, the 3-star Celestial Commander failed to protect himself with his superior cultivation base at the 3rd stage of the Divine Star Realm. His fate could only be described as tragic after getting ganged by a group of frenzied soldiers. Who was he to stop them from retreating when even the Black Shell General tried to abandon them and run? In front of that dreadful existence, everyone's basic instincts and desire to live were awakened. Even after Valifor's departure, his presence still lingered on the battlefield, gripping everyone's heart with an invisible hand like a death god. They had experienced their fair share of danger but never something like this. This was true terror. After the 3-star Celestial Commander was mauled to death by his troops, everyone's courage to flee grew, and several hesitant Celestial Commanders immediately ordered the retreat. Retreat. I will take responsibility for this order, a 5-star Celestial Commander shouted loudly and clearly, shortly adding, our retreat is fully justified. It was High Command that failed us. That's right. Many Celestial soldiers found their own excuses to retreat after listening to the 5-star Celestial Commander's statement. High Command organized the invasion, but it had provided them with wrong or incomplete intel, resulting in their disastrous defeat. Even if they chose to retreat now, the burden of failure would be placed on High Command, not them. As the Celestial Army of Black Shell City began to retreat, leaving behind the disorganized and terror-stricken Emperor Crabs, the Imperial soldiers of the Holy Knight Empire cheered. The Celestials are retreating. Praise the Sun God. Long live the Sun God. The Celestial Army had arrived on their shores with unstoppable force, but Valefor also appeared like a god and put them in their place. This was truly a prime example of ignorant infidels profaning God's land to incur the wrath of God. The Sun God has already solved our biggest problem. However, it would be too light of a punishment to allow these infidels to leave like this. We must kill as many of them as we still can. Charge, an Imperial commander roared, rushing ahead of the defensive line. No matter how strong the Celestials were, they had already lost their will to fight. Fleeing targets with their backs exposed were much more vulnerable. Many Imperial soldiers and Holy Knights shared the Imperial commander's thoughts. Thus, they didn't hesitate to join the charge beyond the safety of their defensive line. Nevertheless, between the Imperial Army and the Celestial Army was a sea of disorganized Emperor Crabs. Compared to the disciplined and battle-hardened Celestial soldiers, the Emperor Crabs were far weaker, ignoring their scary numbers. Still, that made them much easier to deal with. No one would blame the Imperial Army for not trying to end the Celestial Army when the sea of Emperor Crabs obstructed them. Most of the Emperor Crabs were just newly born offsprings of demigod-rank Emperor Crabs. They were no bigger than adult bathtubs and strength no higher than rank 2. That said, whilst their strength was low, their defense was still high. As such, the Imperial Army still had a hard time cutting through their ranks despite their obvious advantage and momentum. After today, it'll be an all-you-can-eat crab buffet, brothers. Crabs will be back on the menu. Strangely enough, the Imperial soldiers had a different source of motivation besides the obvious advantage on their side. Emperor crabs were rare delicacies due to the high energy and protein content of their meat. After all, to anger even one Emperor crab was to anger its entire colony. They were never alone. Besides the Imperial Army, Gilbert Vuron led his vampire army around the Emperor Crabs to attack the fleeing Celestial Army. Although blue-skinned Celestials looked unappetizing, their blood quality was clearly much higher than most humans. Just the Celestial bodies that littered the battlefield were more than enough to stuff them all full, even if they didn't give chase to the fleeing Celestial Army. Of course, it did hurt to work for more blood. After the Sea God Temple's earth-shaking attack sent seismic tremors across the 8 seas, Moonwater City was the first to contact the Ocean Master to learn the situation. However, they received radio silence. In fact, contact with the southern border had been completely cut off. No matter who the Moonwater Lord tried to contact, no one from the southern border responded to his call. It was as if the entire southern border had disappeared. Thanks to the Celestial Kingdom's advanced technology, it wasn't difficult for the other 11 hidden cities to pinpoint the precise location of the source of the seismic tremor. When they discovered it came from the southern sea, they, too, attempted contact with the Ocean Master and southern border via their spirit communication technology. But alas, without an exception, they also received radio silence. What the hell happened in the southern sea? What exactly caused such a powerful earthquake? Why can't we contact the Ocean Master or southern border? Who can give me an answer? We just connected through to Moonwater City, my lord. It seems there were some problems with its communication line due to its proximity to the earthquake. Ah. We just received words from Moonwater City. What did Moonwater City say? The Fonghorn Lord asked. Ends. Moonwater City. It doesn't know what happened either, my lord. It seems no one does. The Fonghorn Lord couldn't help but frown with unease. Such a strong earthquake had never been recorded in the long history of the Celestial Kingdom. As such, it could only be the product of unnatural causes. However, that was precisely his worry. What could have generated such seismic shock?